Okay, so this is an unusual video for me today, but it's an important video to make right now. Your train ticket might be about to double in price. I'm not on the move today. It's very cold outside, I am very tired, so I'm staying in the warmth of my house. You might have seen over on the socials, LNER have announced that they're simplifying ticketing on the East Coast Main Line. Now, I'm sure you know as well as me that when anybody announces simplification, it normally means that we're getting stuffed somewhere. And we're actually going to get stuffed quite a lot in this simplification, and I think it's important to actually look at some of the details of this simplification. The other thing we need to keep an eye on is this is clearly the direction the government are trying to push train ticketing in. LNER are controlled by the government, and if this trial is deemed a success, then what they're doing here, it's highly likely we may see it pushed out to the rest of the country. So that means even if you don't travel on the East Coast Main Line right now, this may affect you in the future. As part of this trial, they are removing completely off-peak singles. This follows on from them last year, removing all returns. So they're already on single leg pricing. It means that if you walk up to the ticket office at King's Cross and say, I'd like to go to Newcastle, please, they'll currently say £83. Yeah, it's currently a bit steep, but you can kind of stomach that. But for next month, if you ask for the same ticket, an equivalent ticket, they're going to give you one for £192. Now, I don't know about you, but £192, that's very, very painful. The way they're trying to spin this is what they're calling the replacement for the off-peak single is essentially an upgraded advanced single. They're calling it the 70-minute flex, which is just like an advanced single, except you can use it up to 70 minutes before and 70 minutes after when your train is scheduled to depart. Now let's compare this to your current off-peak ticket. An off-peak ticket, you can buy it at any time. You can, subject to the time restrictions, you can use it at any time. You can break your journey, so you can stop off and have lunch somewhere on the way. You can stop it short if you change your plans. It's fully refundable. And most importantly, you're always guaranteed to be able to buy that ticket. They're not quota controlled. So it doesn't matter how busy it is, doesn't matter if the company decides they want to make more money that day, you can always buy that ticket. Now, the so-called replacement must be bought in advance. You can't break your journey, so you've got to go direct to your destination. You can't stop short, so no changing plans really on this one. And it's quota controlled, which means once they've sold them, you're stuck buying that £190 anytime ticket. Now, does this sound like a simplification? Does it sound like an improvement to you? Because I really don't think this does. Currently, if you're travelling off-peak, there's an effective cap on prices, and that's the price of the off-peak ticket. If you take away that off-peak ticket cap, you don't have any certainty on how much it's going to cost up to that anytime ticket cap. And I'll tell you what, if a company's trying to make money, do you think they've got any incentive to keep the prices that low? It's not looking good. Yeah, currently, as long as you're travelling off-peak, you know you're not going to pay more than that standard price. Picture a busy weekend at King's Cross. Everybody's trying to get back up north after spending a weekend in that London. I mean, I've done it myself at Euston, not quite King's Cross, but do these people seriously expect us to believe that with so many people trying to get on a train, the availability of all these flex tickets will still be there? No, you're going to end up with half of these people being forced to pay this anytime single fare of £190. This is being called a trial, but given this whole thing is being pushed by politics and the current government's seemingly endless attacks on the railway just to try and make them unusable, I think the results of this trial have probably already been decided. So we've really got to push for this, because I think there's a serious risk of this system being pushed out to the rest of the country. And if it does, some of the numbers look quite painful. I was calculating earlier what train ticket prices in the rest of the country could look like if this goes national. And here are some examples. So if this LNER-based model of single leg pricing and no off-peak tickets comes into place nationally, you're looking at things like Manchester to Liverpool. Currently you can do that for £17. It will then be £28. That's a 53% increase. Going from Manchester to London, right now you can get an off-peak return for £103. I've already moaned about that being far too expensive. If this new system was to come in, you're looking at £368. That's a 257% increase. Yeah, I won't be going to London anymore. If I needed to go to London, if the train was costing that much, I'd be like, hey, glamorous assistant, can I borrow your car to go to London? Birmingham to Exeter, it's currently £114 off peak return, £232 in the new system, 103% increase. Even local journeys, Birmingham to Worcester, currently £10 return off peak, it's going to £20, doubling the price. Local again, Birmingham Coventry, £6.90 will become £11. It's really going to hit people's pockets hard, and it's not exactly a great time financially for a lot of people, is it? I'm all for simplification. My word, does our ticketing system need simplification? Right now, you need a PhD to decipher the best value ticket that you can get for a journey. But this is not it. This is just stuffing passengers for the sake of making money. This is trying to actively price people off the railway. This is trying to turn the railways into an airline-style pricing model. And you know what? You might say, great, that's what it needs. It's demand-driven. The railway is not an airline. The railway is used by people day to day to go about their daily lives, to get from A to B, not going on holiday, not travelling across the world for business. It's people doing journeys that they need to make. People are just going to get back in their cars. Now, I know the current government aren't exactly big fans of the railways. They love their cars. And this is why. I know we've got a general election coming. Maybe just, give serious consideration to who you vote for, because we know where things like this are coming from. And it's not coming from LNER themselves. This is coming from government. This happens nationally. Say goodbye to impulsive travel, because if you want to make a decision to just, at the last minute, nip to the next city over and go and see a friend, go and have lunch with them, you don't know when you're going to travel, you don't know when you're going to come back. It's going to be prohibitively expensive to do that. Avanti already refused to sell you open anytime and off-peak returns if they think their train is sold out. Yet, oddly, when you get on those trains, like, all the unreserved coaches are half empty. This whole demand-driven model, it doesn't work on the railways at all. This could be the biggest rail fare increase the railway has ever seen. And it's all part of the government's plan to kill off rail travel. We have to fight it. We as passengers managed to fight off the ticket office closures, and we as passengers must say no to this happening, because this is going to kill our railways. This is really important. This isn't the fault of frontline staff. If you're in the trial area and you're trying to buy tickets to go to Newcastle, do not take this out on frontline staff. While all this is going on, the people that are making decisions, the upper management at LNER and all the government ministers, they're going to be reclining in their chairs in their offices, just not giving a damn. So be kind to all the railway staff that are going to have to be dealing with the aftermath of this coming in. In the meantime, this is political. Write to your MPs, complain to LNER themselves, use your voice and make it heard. This has to be stopped.